Hello, friends. It's Saturday, August 29th. Yes. And if I look haggard, it's because I am, and explain. I need to do the videos when I feel like it. And usually the best time for me to do the videos is when I first get up in the morning. And last night, I had two shows, and so I didn't sleep very well, but I'm up already. It's 9, and so I'm just waking up. I'm having my first cup of coffee, and it's a good, for me, it's a good time to kind of to do this. Sometimes, besides telling you about records, what goes on is kind of some head clearing, things that have been on my mind. So I will speak about records to start with on this one. I'm trying to remember. I get requests, and it's not that I don't do requests. It's just that I cannot be. I can't run this. I can't do this by request, because if I do, then it won't be any fun, because I'm always responding as opposed to just being where I'm at. So, with that in mind, someone asked me recently, I think about the band Bauhaus and about Virgin Prunes, and I didn't pull those records. But the one thing I wanted to say was I don't associate those two bands with each other in any way at all, Virgin Prunes and Bauhaus. I can imagine there are some folks who see them as part of kind of a scene or a goth thing. But I want to share that one of the reasons why over the years I've always tried to listen to music in every genre was not so much looking for a scene to be a part of, but looking for what's good. And I just found Virgin Prunes in particular very intense, very good. I used to have some albums. I don't. I may return to them, but do I think that Virgin Prunes are... do I recommend them? Yes. Do I think Bauhaus is good? Yes, I do. Never saw them. I finally got to see Peter Murphy. Was it last summer or the summer before? Okay. So, regarding music, Almost Music is my current favorite store to go to, partially just to hang out with Brad Smith, the main owner. He's a music head and a really, really nice person, really enjoyable, going over there, talking about music, stuff in general, and drinking coffee with him. He had his first 99-cent I Need to Clear Some Space sale starting yesterday. It's going on today. I may go back today. I found a few things, which was nice. I thought to myself, I should be able to find something. And happily did. So let me share with you what I found. To start off with, I got Happy Head by the Mighty Lemon Drops. I don't know much about this UK band. I have another album by them. Caught them on MTV's 120 Minutes back in the day. I guess it was the 80s. Really like this sound. I'm looking for the date, if I can say 1988 it looks like. You know, I actually have to use a magnifying glass to see shit. 1986 is when this came out, and they have a kind of a jangly guitar based 12-string is involved in their sound a lot too. I like it. It's pop. It's just really it's good songs. Mighty Lemon Drops. Now, another one of those bands that I say they probably didn't make it bigger because of some sort of stupid sex appeal, lack of sex appeal. Because the songs are sure good. It's always the pretty people that get the hits, you know. I'll say it, you know. A lot of... Yeah, I'll just say it, you know. A lot of dummies, you know, and this is not to put them down, but to just say very bluntly, a lot of dummies, it's not about the music, it's about the face. And so they buy it thinking about the face. For 99 cents, I was able to get this upgrade copy of Deep Purple made in Japan. I've had this album for a long time. I, for one, am in the camp that thinks that this is one of the best live albums made. And I think one of the reasons I think it's so good and so essential is because the band weren't into making the live recording. They were just into playing. And the original idea was that this was never going to go anywhere further than Japan. So consequently, we just get to hear the band the way it really was at the time. And they are on fire. This is excellent. I love it. 99-cent upgrade? Heck yes. Real happy about that. Let me take another swig of coffee and just let this caffeine bust me open. Here's another album that I bought another copy of, but I already had it. A little bit of talk on this one. The Leslie West Mountain. Yes, the cover is ring-worn, okay? I've had this album for a long time. I love Leslie West. Matter of fact, I've had the album for so long I thought I had an original. A while back, playing it, I looked at it and noticed that there's a cutout hole on the cover of my old copy. But the cutout hole isn't a cutout hole, it's printed. My copy is a bootleg. So when I saw this and looked and saw this is a real copy. Leslie West is a big influence on my guitar playing. Probably one of the biggest influences as far as how I actually approach lead. Leslie West is the guy, not Jimi Hendrix or Eric Clapton Leslie West is my biggest influence from teen years. I want to say that. Much respect to Leslie. But this is a white label promo. I, for one, really like white label promos. I think I got hooked on them as a child when I got my first large amount of records as a result of going to a radio station. And of course what they give you is all promos, and so I just have I love promos. So to me, this was a great find yesterday for 99 cents. And it's a great album. It really is. Dreams of Milk and Honey. And his version of Bob Dylan's Wheels on Fire is good. Phil Woods, an underrated jazz saxophonist. I think he's underrated. I just really think he's underrated. It's like, I think there's a certain amount, I give a lot of my opinion, but that's why I'm here. I think there's a lot of critical writing about music that has happened from people who are not fully focused on the music. There's a certain amount of hype and other social stuff going on behind music movements and trends that gets written about. I think that's why Phil Woods is not more highly regarded by the press. Right to swing. This man can blow. And this is a low-priced reissue on Barnaby of an album he put out, I think in 1961. It's just a wonderful date. Right to Swing by Phil Woods. I highly recommend this to people who actually listen to jazz. I say the things that I say, and if it rubs you the wrong way, there may be something to think about. But if what I'm saying doesn't apply to you, see, that's why I do it. It's because it's like, if I say things and it causes something in you, well, take a look at it, This one, I think Brad put this one out, thankfully on purpose for someone like me, for 99 cents. Errol Parker, Compelling Forces. I believe this is a solo piano album. Haven't played this yet. Yeah, solo piano. On the Cadence Jazz Records label. As I'd said in a few videos back, I had been noticing how I'm seeing this label pop up more online in discussions of records, kind of like maybe someone unearthed a bunch of these records and they started getting out amongst the used, but kind of on the free jazz side. But this is the kind of thing I love to find for cheap. This is I haven't even played this yet, but I know his work on the free jazz side. 99 cents. Which is how I've gotten a fair amount of what I have over the years. It's cheaply. Many of you collectors understand what I'm saying. we don't have a lot of money, so we're always trying to find something decent for little or no money. This Alphonse Mouzon album is more on the commercial side of what he did, which I don't play this era of jazz very much at all. It's just, it's basically R&B, which I don't listen to R&B in general. It's not my headset. But this was still in the shrink wrap for 99 cents. It's brand frickin' new, The Man Incognito. Of course I bought it. And Alphonse Mouzon is an excellent drummer. And so there's stuff to like about this album. Here's another one I got that's an upgrade, and I've already agreed to sell my old copy of this to a friend. Blood Rock's first album. I showed this online, and one of my Facebook friends who doesn't actually know me actually tried to leave a comment as though, Blood Rock? Really? Are you kidding? And my response was, Blood Rock is killer, and I didn't go any further because I could have got, crappy about it, because there's no need to. It's like the comment smacked of hipsterism. I'm not accusing this person of being hipster, but the idea that someone even has to say something disparaging about this record, to me, smacks of not knowing what the fuck you're talking about. This album is killer. The other thing that maybe an unknowing younger person might not know that is getting into record collecting is that these guys were truly hip. They had a big hit with DOA, but that wasn't what they were about. That was one song. And on their third album, which I have and love, they're knowledgeable enough to have covered a song by Soft Machine, okay? Enough said. This is a killer album, Blood Rock. Yeah, the coffee's helping me wake up. Which also reminds me that someone else had made a comment where they said that they could see where maybe I might be on the depressive side, maybe even manic depressive. I fully agree. I was diagnosed as a teenager with depression, but I think that I experienced the mania too, but more depression. Just saying that what you see, and you also said you know from experience, so you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, you see it. Arthur Blythe, In the Tradition. This is one of his albums that it was only 99 cents, so I'm adding it, but it's one that I won't be playing much. He's playing old blues. He's calling back this era, literally, the way he's dressed, which for me is generally not very interesting. But it was only 99 cents, and look at it, it's like in brand new condition, and I do have other Arthur Blythe albums. Also got to meet him many, many years ago. He was very, very friendly. Really nice guy. Got to meet Arthur. Here's something that had been in the store that I had been eyeing. I wanted to buy it at the price he had it at, but usually when I'd go in, something else would win out. So when he finally put this on sale for 99 cents, hell yes. Gil Evans and the Monday Night Orchestra, Live at Sweet Basil, Volume 2. Gil Evans, the great arranger who worked with Miles Davis on some seminal recordings. Birth of the Cool, I think, is it. This is killer. Killer set. I haven't even looked all at who's on I'm seeing, well, yeah, he's just got the people, This is excellent. Double album, too. 99 cents. Great shape. Okay. Here's one that I knew that it's a good chance I won't like it, but more than maybe one spin, but for 99 cents, I finally get to hear it. Edie Sedgwick. On Discord. Discord is the punk-based label that was started by Minor Threat's Ian MacKaye, and that interests me. The DC punk scene, and had a very strong tie to the Omaha, Midwestern, Sioux City punk scene, and so I always want to hear what's on Discord. This is also a colored vinyl release, which at this point really means very little, but I'm showing it because it's something to show. I played one side of this, and as I thought, it's like kind of scratchy, slightly punky, some primitive synthesizer work going on here. the words are important. I wanted to hear it, so I got to hear it for 99 cents. I love old record samplers, and this was great to see in the store, and it was great to get it for less than $1. The Hype. What we have here is a label sampler of the label Metromedia. Metromedia back in the 60s and 70s had a couple of radio hits. I think a band called the Winstons, Color Him Father. Anybody remember that song? But besides that, this was the label that Elephant's Memory was on, and Gypsy. And so I got this. Peter Allen is also on here, Joe Brooks, Holy Model Rounders. I didn't even know they had put an album out on this label, so this was great to find. Another one that for years I never was interested in, I played it, and that I knew I really wasn't interested in all these years, but I could finally have a copy and listen to it for 99 cents. Blues Image, Red, White, and Blues. They had that big hit back whenever it was with Ride, Captain Ride. I know I'm aging myself. Some of you people have no idea what I'm talking about, you young folks. I went through this with the drummer from Strange Attractors, who actually he quit the band. He's doing some other projects. Wes has just turned 30. And I was talking to him about some local music that had made it big. C.W. McCall's Convoy. He didn't know anything about it. Even as a young musician, I just think, some kind of sense of history is important. This is one of those bands where it's like you really age yourself when you talk about this, because people don't know who the fuck this is anymore. Generally speaking, I listened to most of this album yesterday, and it's kind of on the bluesy side, which just bores the shit out of me. So I finally get to hear it, and that's about it. Couple more. It was a couple. I got two more. This was a nice find. UK pressing, the Moody Blues, The Beginning, Volume 1. This is some early stuff by the Moody Blues. It doesn't include their hit Go Now, which is fine. What it does include is the song Cities, which was the B-side to the 45 Nights in White Satin. That song was not on an album before this album, so this was a great find for 99 cents. Plus being on the UK Decca pressing. Yes, I do like pressings from all around the world. Some people like American pressings better than foreign. I'm just the opposite. I like pressings from all around the world, especially England and Germany. Well, actually all over Europe. So this was a great find. And they had some ECM. Most of the ECMs they had for 99 cents I already had, or they were pretty nasty with mold, so I didn't get them. So I got this one, John Abercrombie Characters. Great guitarist who had, again, another person I got to, you say meet, but mainly share a word with. He was on stage packing up, and I was off stage after the concert and spoke to him for a few minutes. Those little things are important to me, but this is I played this because I love ECM. Over the years in the past, there has been a certain amount of criticism coming from certain people saying that ECM ended up with a homogenized sound that sounded the same. I think that's only slightly true. And compared to some of the other homogenized sounds that we hear over and over again, this one is much preferred, refined, educated, something nice. So that's what I picked up. Sure, I might not have gotten any. There's other records sitting out down here. And anything striking me right quick I want to talk about. I'll leave it on those for now. I have a big pile of records, but besides the records, I keep forgetting. I just played last night with RAF. We played a show in remembrance of a young local musician, Alan Mansfield, who recently died of cancer. And we did a tribute concert fundraiser for the family last night, and it was just fantastic. It's fantastic. But I keep forgetting to get RAF shirts from Kelly in the band to bring here and show and say, hey, these are for sale. Excuse me. I will try to remember to do that next time we rehearse. The other thing I want to say that's on my mind refers to something that I wrote on my Facebook page yesterday, because I do use social networking like many of you. You know, it's a bit of a platform to share concerns, a bit of Dear Diary going on. But one of the things that I am feeling braver about talking about, mainly because it's needed, is the problem of pedophilia in the world, okay? And I did a post on it yesterday. I'm a survivor of it, okay? And the Jared Vogel, whatever his name is, the TV guy, who I don't know who he is, but got busted recently for child porn and sex with minors. I posted about it, and it's caused quite, actually, it's caused a fair amount of discussion, but compared to some of my other posts, the discussion between the number of people is pretty small, because a lot of people still are not willing to talk about this issue, which it needs to be discussed. I'm looking mostly at the screen, yeah. So if you're a friend of mine or you follow me on Facebook, I encourage you to go and look at the thread, because it's intense. One lady who I kind of know jumped in and appeared to try to derail the purpose of the post. The purpose of the post was to encourage self-examination and critical thought. Because I know, and this is one of the things that other people like me know, is that when you've been a victim of sexual abuse, and it was, especially as a child, one of the things that you have to face and deal with is not growing up and repeating the behavior, which is something that I am constantly keeping up on the front burner, okay? When my sisters were here, we had a great talk about this. This is partially why we're so close, because we can talk openly, especially about things we've been through. And this was an issue, like it is for most of America. It was an issue for my family, okay? And we're survivors. I'll just speak for myself. I won't tell anyone else, okay? I stopped it when I got a certain age. When I got to a certain age big enough to fight is when it stopped, okay? But then, like I said, when I got older, I had to deal with those, that was like it's a Pandora's box that gets opened. And then you have to deal with it, you know what I'm saying? Which I have dealt with and deal with daily. It's conscious, okay? I think this is a really valid thing to share, because there's too much secrets about it. People are still unwilling to talk about it. There's still too much of this raging witch hunt, overly emotional reaction by a lot of people, which is understandable, outrage and anger and wanting to kill perpetrators. You're wanting to protect children. I understand that. But the thing they also understand is that we're never going to get anywhere with this issue if we can't become more reasonable and realistic about the part of human behavior where this comes from. Let me keep going, okay? This is a tough one to take on. The lady that, I won't say her name, but if you are a friend of mine, you can go and read the thread. She brought up something that I thought was completely unnecessary towards trying to create a healing dialogue. I had said in my initial post that attraction to youth is natural. That's just what I said. And then she had wanted to say, well, I don't think it's natural, and I challenge you to find me one credible study that backs up your assertion. And my response to her was, it doesn't matter a fuck if there was a study that says it's natural, unnatural. That study isn't going to help anyone. This conversation where I, as a former victim, now adult survivor who has had to be conscious about choices in his life, this conversation might be helpful to someone else. Okay? And she tried to make it an argument, She tried to make it as though, she tried to make the conversation about her, which isn't helpful. And, she tried to bait me into an argument, which I'm glad I understand human behavior so I could see it. And I responded. You can see my response, okay? Because my first response to her was impatient. And she tried to focus on a couple words I used out of impatience and frustration to say that, well, this is now the issue. No, it's not. You have injected yourself into this conversation, but I'm not going to allow you to derail it from the original purpose, which is encouraging people to be more honest with themselves, do some soul searching, and this is the point I was trying to make. I'll make it here. Something that I learned through Eastern philosophy and Buddhism in particular is the statement that the cause of all suffering is desire, which there is just a whole lot of truth in that. And what I mean by that is this. Naked desire that does not take into account others. Selfish desire can be very destructive. Selfish desire for the young is a perfect example. As adults, and I wrote it, and I'll say it again here, as adults, we have a responsibility to the youth to help them make it to adulthood. And when we give in to selfish desires focused on them, that's the problem. The desire is selfish and therefore self-focused, unheeding of the needs of the other, and so it causes damage. This is something that I think that a lot of people don't think through. They just get stuck on I want. But if you think it through, which is what has saved me, and it's one of the things that we talk about with my sisters and my younger brother, is think it through, and that's what will help you turn away from. This can be used across the board for many things that are like addictions, you know what I'm saying? Is to think it through, because we get stuck on stupid. If you can think it through, then you can realize, okay, I have a greater good that I can do here. It's one of the reasons why I'm still a part of the ongoing punk rock scene. When I first started playing punk in Omaha back in the 70s, I was older than the kids on the band that I joined, RAF. We're still together now 30 years later. When I joined that band, I was in my mid-20s, and the band were in their teens. We've grown up together. And it was never about trying to be around kids and mac on them and take advantage of them. It was never about that. It was about the music, the energy, and the fire that I felt coming from the youth. Thank goodness I already was in a mind frame even then to realize my focus and what I have to offer here is musical. I'll say it again because I think this is something some people hopefully watching this can benefit from. When we just get caught up in our desires and what we want and we don't think about it, we will do some really dumb things. And there's a lot of dumb things going on in this world right now because of what I'm saying. So whatever the issue is, maybe it's food, maybe it's cigarettes, maybe it's your record collecting is out of control. You're spending money you don't have. Think it through, unless there's truly a mental problem there, we have the mental power to unstick our minds from things that we want to be stuck on. Science has shown that you change the chemical pathways of the brain and the central nervous system through repeated actions and behaviors. And this is why it may seem like things that, well, that's just the way I am. Well, heck, you have something to say about that. I am constantly in process of what I call healing, being here now, and being responsible. And I think that it's something that could be helpful. There's not enough talk about it from this point of view. I hope what I'm saying makes sense. I know I'm trying to make sense. I'm trying to do something that's possibly helpful. That's the main reason why I bring this shit up. I don't have the answers. I'm just trying to throw something out there that might be helpful. Okay, this is a long one. I'll see you soon. Leave your comments, please. I always delete comments where it's like when people say things that are unrelated to the content of the video. People may leave comments where it's negative or somehow trying to be smartass. The only thing those comments do is reveal the nature of the person writing them. So I just delete them. It's so obvious to me, that it's not me.